Hello, everybody, and welcome to the round of 4 in the PokerStrategy.com Team Liquid Star League. I am Artosis. Alongside me, the one and only Aceless.
Guys, what's up? We have come a long way. We're here very far along in the TSL, and I think we got a pretty badass matchup today.
Oh.
Two of my favorite players to watch.
Well, they would be. You are a Protoss player.
I am a Protoss player, and we got a lot of Protoss action today. Tell us a little bit about these two players, Dan.
Well, we have Liquid NonY against Mouse JF, aka Ifnage. It's his name backwards. Call him JF, everyone. Yeah, it's a great match. It's a PvP, and let's take a quick look at this map order. We got first map Fighting Spirit, second map Destination, third map Outsider. If needed, Neo Tornado for map number 4, and if super needed, Andromeda for map number 5.
But only if super needed.
That is correct. That is if it's 2-2 at that point.
We don't have a sixth map if it's super duper needed. Look, I think all these maps are actually going to make for great dynamic PvPs. Look, let's go straight to our first player here. His name is NonY.
Yeah, man.
And we have quite a history with this guy. He was one of our teammates. We both competed against him.
Yeah.
And I think he has a lot of promise here.
Of course he does. NonY just knocked out Hydra last round. If you guys haven't seen it, go back and watch it. Really, really exciting series. After a year of inactivity, this complete beast, this complete monster of StarCraft is back, and he is top 4 in the TSL once again. Really, really impressive display here. He has a new accomplishment under his player information and causes opponents to succumb to nerves. Wow, he's like a Pokemon, man. He's just got a built-in ability right there.
I know, a special ability. I summoned my NonY. Look, NonY, he's one of these guys who's very calm and very confident. He's one of the guys I've had the opportunity to compete against in several events. I think he's come a long way from the NonY I knew 5 years ago. And I think he's a real threat to JF here. At the same time, though, let's talk a little bit about this guy's notable achievements here. I don't think they're really all on here because he has quite a few, but the one that always sticks with me, and I know you can say the same thing, is that Soul Courage.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
That was quite a feat. You know, just the most amazing display I've ever seen in Korea by a foreigner. And look at him. I mean, he won WCG USA, he made the round of 8 in World Finals, 4th place in the last TSL, won the Spirit Tournament to come to Korea. Just so many things can be said about NonY. He's such a confident and talented player. Very strong macro, very strong at choosing his strategies, thinks quickly on the fly. He is the total package as far as StarCraft goes.
You know, when I talk to a lot of these StarCraft players out there, I'm always impressed when I see how NonY thinks. Speaking to him one-on-one, he seems to view the game in a very different manner, and I think it's really benefited him. He really seems to know the exact cooldown rate of attacks, you know, hit points, damage rates, armor types, which is usually very different because a lot of other Protoss players look at the game a little bit differently, at least in the way they describe things. So I think NonY, he's got a lot of awesome stuff coming up here.
Yeah, and you know, that's well said, Tasteless. Let's go on, look at our other player. It is JF, alright? You know, yes, his ID says Ifnage, it's GNFA backwards. He's young, he didn't know that it was a horrible ID, so we call him JF. So anyways, JF, this guy won the TSL, basically that was his year. Just like Hydra has dominated tournaments this year, JF dominated tournaments that year. So this guy was a foreigner bourgeois at one point, you know, just totally unbeatable in the scene. And he is back with a vengeance, just like NonY. Both these guys not very active in the past year, but they are here battling it out. And the winner of this match is going to win a minimum of $5,000.
We can't deny the fact that this guy won the first TSL. A lot of people did not expect him to win that. He was kind of a dark horse player, making it incredibly exciting, especially in his match against Draco. That's one thing I'll never forget when I watched the very first TSL.
I just got chills even thinking back to that match, man.
I know. I'm getting geek bumps.
Geek bumps?
Geek bumps all over my body just thinking about it. I also got to study this guy's replays from the first TSL and his TSL replay package. I think his crisis management is phenomenal.
Oh yes, definitely. And he's a very smart player. A different style than Noni. He's a very micro-intensive, whereas Noni is a macro-intensive player. So that's going to make for an exciting match. And one thing I really do need to point out is that this kid is the god of Reavers. He's got pro gamer level Reaver control.
Yeah.
And we saw two of his most important matches ever. The finals against Draco last time, and then against White Raw in the round of 8. Both of those, he went first 2 games no Reavers, lost both sets. He lost the first 2 games not making Reavers. The next 3 games in both sets, he went to Reaver and 3-0'd. So I'm kind of hoping that he starts out with Reavers tasteless. I mean, he hasn't in the past, but Noni is too strong. You can't give him a 2-game advantage then 3-0 him, JF. I'm sorry. It's not going to happen.
Here's my take on these 2 Protoss players. I think Noni is in Protoss versus Protoss because I've played against him. I've competed against him a lot. He is one of these guys that's most comfortable going for the standard Goon Reaver opening. If he doesn't do that opener, his play tends to be a lot weaker. He has a lot less exposure in those scenarios where it's not Goon Reaver. With JF, I think his Goon Reaver, even though his Reaver control is perfect, I think when it comes to Goon Reaver against Goon Reaver, not as good as Noni's. But JF seems to be one of these players who's a jack of all trades as far as PvP builds. So I think it's going to be up to Noni to be comfortable with a million different openers from JF. At the same time, JF's going to have to deal with quite possibly one very solid opener. But then again, these players are really surprising us. I don't think there's been a lot of standard textbook plays here at the TSL.
That is quite true. So let's take a look at the first map we have from this set. It is none other than Fighting Spirit. This map, it's a good map, man. It's a very fun map for other matchups, but this is PvP, so we're just going to see a lot of good balance.
A lot of good balance, and man, I can't wait to see this game. I'm seriously so pumped.
I know it.
There's Fighting Spirit. It's a 4-player map, as we've seen here, so unlikely we're going to see any wacky PvP builds, but I think it's great. It's probably one of the more standard maps we've seen released nowadays.
And I would like to point out, you know, on a map like this, a 4-player map, in a mirror matchup, there's only one way that you can have an advantage for one player over the other, and that is a positional advantage. Let's say, for instance, that in the top right we have Noni, in the bottom right we have JF. Noni's going to have a slight advantage because the natural of JF is closer to Noni. He can get in there with shuttles and harass it slightly easier.
Yeah, especially when the Storm Drop phase comes in there.
That's right.
And that's the scariest part of PvP is the late game, the mid game Storm dropping stuff because Storm is almost as good as it is in StarCraft 2.
True that. Well, you know, I don't know what else we can really say about these guys. We've followed them throughout the rounds. We've been over them. We've beaten these maps to death with a stick.
And a bat and a gun.
Yeah, man, we just totally have tortured them.
I guess we beat it to death with a gun. We forgot ammunition, but point being, we've talked about these maps a lot.
All right. Well, I think it is time, Tasteless. I think that it is time to see who one of the finalists is going to be. Are you ready to start game 1?
Wait.
What?
Okay, go.
Okay.
All right, let's do this.
Strategy.com, Team Liquid Star League, the round of 4, game 1. We're on Fighting Spirit. We have JF against NonY, and in the top right with White Protoss, we have JF, the defending Team Liquid Star League 1 champion. In the bottom right, we have NonY as the Blue Protoss, 4th place from the last TSL, and the upsetter of Hydra, the man who can make people choke, NonY.
Be careful, man. NonY, yeah, definitely a guy who can make people mess up. I don't think a lot of people expected Hydra to get knocked out by NonY. I know I didn't. I know you didn't.
No.
And I don't think we're alone on that. But it's really cool to see NonY this far along. And it's kind of exciting to see NonY against JF in this moment because we don't have a real history with these two players.
Yeah, they don't really hit in a lot of tournaments, to be perfectly honest. They've done so well, especially that one year where they were both very active in the foreigner scene. And in fact, they spent some time on the same team and everything. So they actually haven't really hit each other a lot, but I do know that they have practiced together, and they definitely both know each other's style.
Right.
They've been in so many public matches that it would be impossible for one of them not to know the other. But that being said, we saw with NonY already throughout this tournament, he's been throwing out a lot of builds we haven't seen him do before that go against his style. And with JF, of course, JF can do any build he wants. But, of course, his Reaver play is his strength.
Fighting Spirit's one of these maps where you can do that one Robo Bay, quick expand. We see both these guys going for the fast Vespian gas here. A lot of this is going to depend on scouting. As you can see here, it looks like NonY is going to get in there first. White player is NonY, correct? No, blue player is NonY. NonY is going to get in there first.
Yes. He is going to scout JF in the right direction. They're both scouting counterclockwise here. And it looks like JF, he is going to find NonY very late, and NonY's making a Zealot, so in fact JF may not even get up that ramp. He may not even be able to see anything that NonY's doing, and this should actually give NonY a pretty decent advantage here.
Yeah, it really does. He blocks that ramp up. There's a lot of different directions he can go in, and that's going to be tough because Protoss vs. Protoss is all about that intel. And we do see very standard tech here so far. We're not going to really know what's going on until that Cybernetics core finishes.
And normally people do not even throw up their tech buildings until the probe is out of their base. So it looks like JF, he may have to just chase this probe around for quite a while before, finally... Wait a minute. NonY's actually sent up his first Zealot. So NonY actually going to put pressure on right away, see if he can maybe kill a probe or two. And, that is one of the beautiful things about StarCraft. You can micro this Zealot around, you can really put on a lot of pressure and gain a tempo advantage, especially in Protoss vs. Protoss.
Well, those probes, they die so quickly that you can really switch the whole game around if you get a few kills on them early on. Of course, we see the attack coming on up here. He's going for the probes. He gets one already. He's going to get two here. This is huge. The Zealot actually blocked off from the other Zealot. This is getting out of control.
Oh, wow, man. JF cannot be after this, losing mining time, a lot of mining time as well.
Wow.
3 probes, all that mining time. He's at 22 supplied, and NonY's 24. And already NonY kills JF's probe with a Zealot in his base.
I think if that probe had killed, if there was one more probe kill there, I think that Zealot could have been a serial killer. Unfortunately, though, for NonY, hold that thought. Actually, the probe taken out now. The counterattack is occurring. He's moving out here. He's going to try to take out any more scouting units.
Single Dragoon counterattack. I think it's not going to do a whole lot right now. And let's see here. NonY getting a Robo right near his ramp. This might mean that he wants to walk a Reaver down and take an expansion really fast.
Yeah, you got to be careful with that Robo placement because if they do spot that, that's going to give away a lot. And on the other hand, from JF, we have second gateway here.
Yeah, this is kind of the reverse of what you might think you'll see, but JF never liking to go Reaver in game 1 of his PvPs. I don't know what's with him on that. I do hope he adds a Robo as well. But right now, just 2 gateways. And I'm wondering who is going to expand first. That's one of the most interesting things to see in this matchup. NonY, by the way, adding a second gateway. So what you said before about, the Dragoon Reaver pushes, we may, in fact, see something like that here today.
Very cool to see both these guys going with sort of standard builds. Very different from what we saw with JF against White Ra. And here we go. Robotics facilities up.
So actually very similar builds. JF just getting his second gateway quicker and NonY is robo quicker. We may be seeing some sort of mirror here. Now NonY, he's very good at controlling Dragoon Reaver armies, but of course JF, known especially for his Reaver control, I cannot wait to see these two clash if they in fact do both go for these early armies exactly like that.
Okay, it's going to be a matter of keeping that observer alive. This is where Protoss gets a little bit more delicate because you get that one observer out, those things die pretty fast. So you got to make sure that you get some good scouting in there. The other question is, do I get 1 or 2 observers? Am I confident that my opponent is not going to DT rush me? In this case, we see 1 observer here for NonY. Looks like he is going to go for the Reaver and the Expand.
Yeah, no shuttle. This definitely points towards saving those 200 minerals to get that quicker Nexus. He wants that economic advantage. I do not blame him one bit. He is a stronger macro player than JF. He should play to his strengths. You know, it is a best of 5. You're not just trying to cheese and get a win. And he is confident, as we heard NonY say before. He thinks he will win the TSL overall, so he's just got to play his game and follow that confidence, which has led him never astray before.
I think he's playing it out right. NonY's macro is pretty solid. This NonY stimulus package definitely going to get his economy going. And from there, I think it's not going to be that hard. You can see JF here actually going to go for a Goon Reaver push. He might want to go for a battery. NonY might want to go for a battery here if he goes for Reavers on low ground. Because batteries actually become ridiculous. When you get the Shuttle Reaver against Reaver on low ground with battery.
Yeah, you definitely do need that, though. I mean, if you do not have that battery, it's so hard to keep your Reavers alive. They die in 2 Scarabs very easily. So, you know, I think NonY knows that. We should be seeing a battery go up by him as soon as he realizes what is happening here from JF. I mean, they both do have observers, so it should be easy to figure it out. Now, we see JF just gearing up, getting all his units ready. That Reaver is about half done right now. He's at 56 supply. NonY, in the meantime, at 56 as well. But no shuttle, including that, already got his second Reaver out and making a shuttle right now so that he actually will be able to micro his Reavers properly. Maybe won't need that shield battery after all.
Sometimes we see players skip the shuttle and get the 3rd gateway, but in this case, looks like NonY, or as he would say his name, NonY.
Yeah.
I can't believe the guy doesn't know how to say his own name.
Yeah, what's wrong?
I don't know. It's okay though. It's okay though, NonY. You are better at Protoss than us. It's going to be all up to Micro right now. JF's going to move down there. Remember, 2 Reavers on low ground. Shuttle play going to be really integral right now. But 1 Reaver against 2 Reavers, I don't see JF winning this.
Yeah, if he wins this, I'll actually be quite surprised. But he might just use that shuttle with Reaver to harass the expansion. But no, he's going to attack right in. Here we go. The Reaver being dropped. Oh, he gets hit by a Scarab right off. Picks up that Reaver with red health.
He's got to be very careful of that Reaver. Almost dead. These Dragoons not yet bum rushing the Reavers over here because the shuttle's out. This is a disaster.
Oh my god.
Oh god, oh god. Is he going to get the shuttle as well? No. The Reaver backs up. 1 Dragoon left over here, and the humiliated Reaver is going to have to leave.
Dude, NonY, he has 54 supply to 45 from JF. NonY has that Nexus up, and also he has 2 Reavers against JF's 1 Red Reaver. I gotta say, I have never seen JF lose a PvP where he opens Reaver, but it looks like this is going to be the first time for me.
I hope there's a box of Kleenex inside that shuttle because that Reaver of JF's did not do a good job. He's got to back up now. Now, at this point in time, it's almost impossible for JF to recover. Basically, NonY has to overstep himself. I mean, really, that's all that can happen because when you get 2 players like this, mathematically, they can both produce at a very solid rate. So it's based a lot off the opening builds. Here comes a battle now.
Oh, look at this. He's going to push in. The 1 Reaver is sitting there playing defense, but it's in the red, and it looks like NonY may try to do some shuttle harass before stepping in, and I like that play. You know, you may as well try to split up his units, fly back, and then hit the front when stuff is out of position. And it looks like he is just kind of waiting for probes to be made, or rather sent to this expansion. This is a really good play, and I do fear for JF's livelihood here.
Well, what he can do here is, shuttle speed.
Here he goes into the main base. These probes, their retreat path is going to be in the way of these Reavers. And look at this. Oh, nice Scarab right there. NonY just picking JF apart. And here he goes. He's countering with the goons. And JF looks like he is about to be destroyed.
JF is really out of position now. He can loop around with the reverse shuttle. Get over here, but hold that thought. JF doing the same thing to NonY. NonY needs to drop those reavers a little bit quicker here. He's going for the shuttle. Oh my God!
Oh! He loses the shuttle with one reaver left in it. And JF almost with a completely brilliant move here. What am I saying? It was brilliant, but it looks like NonY will survive through this anyways.
Oh my God, it was so close. JF really
man.
made do with a lot more than I expected him to here. The probe's actually retreating quite well here. I don't think JF can recover, but I have to say, JF really handled himself well.
He really did. He almost recovered from that, almost crushed NonY's army. But at the end of the day, I mean, NonY, he did a superior job there. Nothing else to say, man. Really impressive play by both players. And JF GG's a fast and furious game one.
Great game, GG. Let's go to game number 2.
All right. What we're going to do right now is take a look at the next map. It is Destination. Why don't you tell us about PvP on here, Tasos? I know that you have seen countless Protoss for Protoss battles on this map.
PvP is a lot of fun on this map, especially because it's one of these maps you can get the expansion up pretty quickly. And that's mostly because of those 2 bridges right outside your natural expansion. Mid-game, the center bridges take a huge role here. It's pretty tough to get a 3rd base on Destination PvP. A lot of times you see them complete the entire tech tree before they do that. But if both players do get a 3rd base, then we see a pretty crazy game here. It's pretty tough to actually attack into your opponent. So it's going to be very exciting. A lot of this is going to be based off whether or not these guys deviate from the norm here. Because the normal build is to go 1 gateway, get a Nexus and a Robo. The order depends. But otherwise, yeah, we're going to see something pretty wild. DT Rush is a little bit more common on this map, too.
You know, the more I think about it, a Goon Reaver push on this map, not so easy. Those bridges are not really conducive to, you know, keeping your Reavers protected by Dragoons. But, of course, Speed Shuttle Harassment quite good here because of the weird setup behind the natural. There's a lot of room for you to fly around and try to harass.
Yeah.
So that plays to JF's strength, but at the same time, I mean, as has been mentioned before, containments at those bridges can be extremely, extremely strong.
Well, I know both these guys have got a lot of practice on this map. I know NonY had to practice specifically for this map when he was here with us in Korea, getting prepared for this. JF, being the incredibly intelligent player he is, certainly has some tricks up his sleeve. I'm curious to see if we're going to see Goon Reaper play here again.
Yeah.
NonY, while he doesn't do it in laddering games as much, when it comes to tournament games, he will mix up his play every once in a while and deviate from the Reaver builds. But I've noticed his openers don't seem to be as overall effective as the kind of games we saw, for instance, in Game 1 here.
All right, well, with that being said, let's go into game number 2.